and give you a little different perspective as what we can see here over the next couple of minutes. And I would like to, again, reach out to folks apart from where the warnings are and ask them to certainly be prepared for this because of the rapid movement of this system. It is going to be, well, you figure 60 miles an hour, it's moving at about a mile a minute, and these are moving at about 75 to 80 miles an hour. So this gives you an indication, an idea of just how quickly these storms are going to continue to march through the area. But the latest indication I've seen here, so far no new information. The sirens have been activated in the Adams County area, though the warning for Adams, at least as what I'm seeing here, is expected to expire. But it still continues for parts of Buffalo. We have it for Clay, Hall, Hamilton, Howard, Mary counties. So you folks, that's part of the severe thunderstorm warning that extends that far, not the tornado warning, but again, we could be seeing some circulations that could extend into the Hamilton, the Aurora, St. Paul, and Central City areas, as well as over toward Superior. Latest indication we're seeing about near Bostwick, about 4 miles north-northwest. We have some wind gusts being reported there. That's a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. That's in Nuckolls County. So all up and down that line, seeing some very pronounced wind gusts, as you would expect. All of that is in the warning area across the region. So we're going to slide on over here now, and then if you bear with me just for a second here, if you're just joining us, once again, we do have tornado warnings that are in effect for parts of Adams County and also Clay County, parts of Hall County, including Grand Island right now, as storms continue to lift through the region and push toward the north and east. Here's a little closer look at what we're looking at, moving through the Grand Island, Hastings, Clay Center areas. And I would imagine the sirens certainly have been going off in the communities of maybe western, near the Shelton areas, and also in parts of Hall County as well. We're talking about a possible circulation that's going to be running right along Highway 34. Right now, Wood River along Highway 11 is where we're seeing the line or the particular circulation that the radar is indicating with this line as it continues to march to the north and east. And that seems to be the culprit, although we have had indications farther to the south that perhaps around the Blue Hill, between Blue Hill and Air, there was some indications by radar on a radar product that possibly some debris was in the air in that area, which would indicate a possible touchdown. Okay, we've got Storm Chaser 4 that's out tracking these storms right now, and right now I'm going to throw it to David Stoltz. And David, give us your location, let us know what you're seeing and where you're at right now, okay?
Meteorologist David Stoltz with Storm Chaser 4. I'm on 34 just west of Hastings. You can see I'm 25 miles from Minden. Here's a rolled over semi-truck as a tornado passed just to the south of 34. Not sure if it crossed 34, but I did see the tornado as I was heading east on 34 just about 10 minutes ago. And I'm going to try to go around here and not interfere with. But yes, you can see on the picture here, coming up on this semi that has flipped over. There is a sheriff there now attending to that rolled over truck. And not going to get in their way. Looks like there's another truck coming. But yes, tornado passed just to the south here on right along 34. Like it was alive on Facebook when it happened, lots of debris hitting the vehicle and stuff, but right now it's passed, it's headed off towards the east-northeast, it looks like. But yes, definitely tornado on ground, and in December Not unheard of, but definitely unusual for this time of year. I'm not sure if John is in the studio. I'm going to pass things off to him. If he is, he can probably give you a lot more on the radar and everything. So, John, it's over to you.
Okay, thanks a lot. We're sort of adjusting things on the fly here, and here is a look at the severe thunderstorm warnings, a little closer look, and we've just got our radar back, which is good news, I'm happy to say. And I'll give you a better vantage point with that in just a little bit. Get rid of some of these banners. You can see the cloud ground lightning. I'm going to move that. I'm going to get rid of that for the time being because it is just saturated across the area. And that brings up another issue. Besides the warnings for Adams County and also for parts of Clay County have been dropped. All that's left now, we do have a tornado warning for the northern sections of Adams County and also eastern Hall County, parts of Hamilton County now, and also the corner of Merritt County, just the far southwest corner of Merritt County. But the tornado warning for Adams has been allowed to expire. The tornado warning for Buffalo, Hall, and Howard, that would have been the warning that we saw farther to the west. That has been dropped. But now a severe thunderstorm warning has been replaced that. The only tornado warning we're dealing with right now is for areas right near the Grand Island, Donovan areas. And that's where the circulation is indicated on radar currently as we speak. So let me give you the latest that we have regarding the tornado warning, and the sirens are being activated as well in the community of Phillips. We did have reports of a tornado on the ground from emergency management 3 miles west of Glenville. So we also had a confirmed tornado near air. Now, we were talking about that. That was initially radar indicated. We may be getting some ground truth, though, from emergency management now. That tornado on the ground 3 miles west of Glenville. So the sirens were sounding there. That would have been about 2 o'clock, however. Again, the warnings for Adams have been allowed to expire. These are moving so quickly. It's just, it's really difficult to keep track just how fast these are moving. So if you're traveling around the Grand Island area, hopefully anywhere around Grand Island, I hope you're seeking shelter right now. And once again, where that is, well, we expect you to be in your basement if you have a basement. If you do not have a basement, certainly go to an interior room, a closet, perhaps a bathroom. There's a lot of pipes, a lot of plumbing. That's usually a decent place on the lowest level you can get. And then stay away from external walls. Stay away from windows as well. Flying glass can cause injury. Walls, structural damage could cause the walls to cave in on you. So that's why we ask you to get into those interior rooms in a situation like this. So Donovan, Grand Island, Phillips is all included in this tornado warning that's still going until 2:15. The latest on the warning we have right now, if I can find my mouse here, there we go. Still affirmed, we have a confirmed tornado over Donovan right now. And Donovan being 10 miles south of Grand Island, that is moving northeast at 70 miles an hour. A confirmed tornado located over Donovan. So I'm assuming that's a little more than just a circulation indicated on radar. So certainly in Donovan, I hope you're in shelter right now in the Donovan area. And this will be moving certainly upstream from Donovan. There you see Donovan on the map right there. And just as quickly, this is going to be moving near Locust Street and between Interstate 80 there very shortly. Again, with a line like this, it's difficult to point out a hook or the typical traditional signature of a tornadic supercell. A lot of these spin-ups occurring just from the momentum of the line of storms that are moving so rapidly across the area. But right now, a confirmed tornado, according to the National Weather Service, indicated over Donovan, and I would imagine now that has now move closer to the interstate, but that was as of about 2:01. And so we are at 2:05 right now. So in the span of about 4 minutes, this has moved a pretty good distance. We now have another tornado warning that's been issued. And this one is for parts of Hamilton County now. A tornado warning has been issued for Clay and Hamilton County until 2:15. We have, again, the same story. We have the line of storms moving through there. Circulations being indicated on radar. This one over Trumbull, which is located 9 miles northeast of Hastings. It's moving to the northeast at about 70 miles per hour. And this is going to be over Giltner right now and will be moving into the Aurora area in about 5 minutes at around 2:15. So if you live in the Giltner, in the Aurora areas or surrounding communities, you should be seeking shelter immediately. Again, a tornado warning has just been issued for parts of Hamilton and parts of Clay County, the northwestern part of Clay County and southern Hamilton County, to be more specific. And the storm is chugging along at about 70 miles per hour. We have reports near Air. There's been wind gusts there as high as 66 miles an hour. The Trumbull circulation is now approaching the Hamilton County line. So that's where we stand right now. And I'm going to, on the fly here, I'm going to try to take a look at, see if we have all of our radar products going here and see if we can see anything in particular regarding the circulations that are contained within this line here. And yeah, I'm not, there it is. And there's the velocity on there. And not really. It's showing a lot of outbound information, and it is relatively close. The radar site's located in Blue Hill, but as far as shear, everything's going to be right on the nose of this line of thunderstorms. That's where the circulations are going to pop up, and so anything beyond just outbound, which is the red, that's indicating the air moving away from the radar site. So that's all we're getting. So it's hard to definitively pinpoint exactly where that circulation is occurring, at least on this particular product here. So let's go back to the radar that we had. Let me get rid of this for you, and I'll do a storm track on this for you so that you can stay on top of the line. I know there's a lot of warnings on this right now, and it's kind of hard to differentiate what's what here. I'm trying to do that the best that I can, but let's take a look at some of the ETAs for some of the communities, and this is moving to the north and east at about 75 miles an hour. Some cases 80, so we'll put it at 80 miles an hour. And it's already moving through the Grand Island area. It's not picking up on a lot here. Aurora around 227, should be moving into the York area around 248. That's the line of storms that we're talking about here presently. That's tracking down just to the east of Hastings and moving right into the Hamilton County line. In addition to the winds, we do have very, very heavy rain. So visibilities are going to be compromised with this, not to mention the dust that we've seen across the area. Again, a dust warning was issued for several counties across the area. And so you've got all sorts of things making travel very, very, very difficult. So if you have someplace to go, please put it off until this line continues to move just off to the east of us. Let's clear this out of here right now so I can give you a better look. If you're just joining us, and again, a new audience moving in here, we do have a line of severe storms that have made their way into south central Nebraska and are now passing to the east of Highway 281. Now, the storms in Kansas are moving pretty much due east. On the Nebraska side of things, they have been moving to the north and east. We have reports now of some power poles leaning just off Old Potash Highway. Specific address would be about 3525, if you know where that is. So very, very strong winds. We have thunderstorm wind damage being reported in near Juniata in the wake of that system. That has now moved through that area. So now we start to get a little bit more reports. A semi reportedly overturned on Highway 6 and near Adams Central. That's Highway 6 and Adams Central. And that was occurring roughly about 1:50. So that would have been the time, of course, that storm was moving through at that time, and the warning had been issued. A lot of the storm damage reports are now beginning to roll in here. And also, you folks in Giltner, Aurora, and Hampton, you're hearing the sirens blowing in your area. You should be seeking shelter immediately right now. As here's a closer look. I'll zoom in here to give you a better vantage point of that particular warned area here. Let's go to a different radar site. And this will help out. Sorry about that. Computer's reloading on me here. And again, there's you see the tornado warnings. I'll get rid of the radar here, and you can get a little better vantage point of the radars moving through the region. Folks in Aurora should be seeking shelter. We've had some reports of a touchdown around the Donovan area. And again, these are all lifting toward the north and east and will be in the Aurora area very, very soon. Other reports coming in here now. We have 1 mile northwest of Grand Island, we have a spotter reporting 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, 80 to 90-mile-per-hour gusts associated with this. That would have been on Highway 281 and 13th Street. Pete, a quarter-sized hail also. We also have a tornado on the ground about 4 miles, according to a spotter. That is, there's a potential tornado. That has not been confirmed. But that's in the vicinity of where we're seeing the circulation associated with that. So that is not a surprise right there. We're looking at roughly to the southwest of Aurora. So I hope you are in shelter in Aurora right now. Sirens are going off through that area, and this is rapidly going to be blowing through your town. And so far, we are having verification of damage associated with these storms moving through the area here. Folks in York, you're going to be seeing, you are now in the severe thunderstorm warning area as well. These warnings are just going to be popping up in advance of the line of storms themselves. Fullerton, we have severe thunderstorm warnings for York, Geneva, Bruning, Hebron, and other areas across the area. And again, we will ask you to watch for spin-ups as these continue to push into the region. I'm going to change this out now and look at, there was some indications of some debris earlier, and so far, this is a tornado debris signature according to the radar. When you see areas of blue embedded within the red, it's somewhat linear, so it's difficult to point out. But sometimes you will see a blue circulation within the red that indicates that there is some debris across the area. That could indeed be going on roughly or along that line from Stockham down toward Clay Center, but it's somewhat difficult to tell with this particular vantage point here. So we'll put you back into the radar right now and give you a little bit of better idea about that, and go back to the reflectivity as we swap things back. Here's a look at, let me get rid of this. I'll get rid of this here in the way. We have a tornado on the ground, a report of a tornado on the ground now. Again, that was what was indicated earlier. Power poles on the ground at Marion and Cimarron in Adams County. That would be power poles are on the ground at Marion and Cimarron in Adams County as the damage reports continue to come in. The latest warning that we have right now, we do have tornado warnings now in effect for northwestern New York, central Hamilton, central Merritt County, and also southwestern Polk County until 2:30. We have a severe thunderstorm. That's also this is also radar indicated, producing a tornado near Giltner, moving northeast at about 70 miles an hour. We're looking at the movement of this system moving into the Hampton, Marquette areas, Polk and Hordeville around 2:30. So you're advised to take shelter in these areas right now. This began at about shortly before about 1 o'clock hour across the area. We started to see thunderstorms begin to develop coming out of Kansas. And with that, we started seeing our first warnings. The first tornado warning occurred roughly around 2 o'clock, or just prior to that, around 1:57 this afternoon. We saw severe thunderstorm warnings at about 1:51 across those areas. We are continuing to see reports of 85-mile-per-hour gusts in the Giltner area. So estimated winds at least in that 80 to 90 mile per hour category across those areas. You can see the circulation associated with that. So I'm going to take a look at this particular radar here, lock that in place, and update this for you. We got to certainly need to kind of doing this on the fly here, so bear with me here just a little bit. I will get rid of those banners. That's in your way there. There's the query. There we go. So you can have a little better idea of that, and I'll get rid of the lightning as well. The lightning is going to be an issue with these, and there certainly is a wildfire threat that we're also dealing with. So any lightning strikes, that would not be a good thing. There's a lot of things going against us here with this particular system as it moves through the area. But here's a closer look now, and a little better, sort of clean things up a little bit. And you can see this line continuing to push over toward the Columbus area. Zooming in upstream from that, we've got Highway 30. A lot of these storms will be tracking into the Highway 30 area. We're talking about Central City and moving toward the Columbus area. And they'll be moving in there very, very quickly as we are still maintaining forward momentum at about 75 miles an hour across those areas. So if you're just joining us, Tornado Watch has been posted as well, and I'm just going to leave it on here right now. We do have dust storms ongoing across the area. We've got down in Rooks County in Kansas, visibilities are down to a quarter of a mile in those areas. And you can see the Storm Prediction Center has been anticipating this. Here's a look at the severe outlook, in which that was extended earlier in the day back toward the Tri-Cities, and that certainly is verifying. And now it will only continue. The better instability is actually upstream or downstream from us here in the Tri-Cities, but upstream from or down around the Lincoln and Omaha areas, where there's a moderate to enhanced risk in those areas. So there's additional instability to be tapped over the eastern sections of the state, and these storms are going to be long tracking, to say the least. So far, we hope the damage has been to a minimum. We've had reports of power poles down in several areas. Edgar, emergency manager, is now reporting a tornado on the ground 1 mile south of Edgar. We have a tornado on the ground 1 mile south of Edgar. That is in Clay County right now. You folks in Edgar should be seeking shelter immediately with that system, and I will try to zoom in on that to go down to where Edgar is. Here we go. We'll go into Edgar's in Clay County. You see the line moving through the Harvard, Sutton areas, and there's Fairfield, Clay Center, and there's Edgar. So right in this area here, right in this area is where we've got a confirmed tornado on the ground. According to emergency manager, that was at 2:14 this afternoon. And that storm is moving pretty much due east. So that's going to be moving into the Yonge, Shickley, Strang areas. So within that area, we're looking at the possibility of a circulation, certainly. It's hard to, within the line, it's hard to differentiate the circulation. So a lot of this is reports from folks on the ground. There have been some radar indications of the circulations within the storm, but in terms of the classic hook that you see with the tornado, it's very difficult with this line of storms. We're showing 69 mile per hour winds now, 2 miles northwest of Superior in Nuckolls County. We've got a report of a tornado 1 mile west of Aurora going across the interstate. That was by an emergency manager reporting that as well. A tornado 1 mile west of Aurora moving across the interstate. We hope folks can get their cars pulled over and get into the ditch for that. We also have reports of 69 mile per hour winds in Superior, Davenport, and Thayer County. Strong winds in that area as well. But we have very, very strong winds back towards sections of Clay County. So I'm going to pan this up farther to the north now. Clay Center, Sutton, and there is not, and there is no, we're getting reports, like I said, in Clay County, but there is no warning issued there that I can see right now. Once again, we're still dealing with the warning that's up around Aurora, and that extends toward Polk and over toward the Stromsburg area. And that's moving to the northeast at about 75 miles an hour. This is all part of a squall line that extends roughly from Greeley, Ord, and all the way down into southern Kansas. In fact, this is really pretty amazing. Let's go to. I'm going to switch it over now to our storm chase vehicle. David Stoll is in Hastings. Stoltz is in Hastings right now. He's kind of surveying things around there. David, what are you seeing, and what have you come across as you're out and about out there?
Meteorologist David Stoltz, downtown Hastings, on Burlington, across from Wells Fargo. Quite the different picture right now, with the sun poking through the clouds compared to about 30 minutes ago, as we had a tornado warning and a tornado confirmed on the ground. I actually saw it and have video on my Facebook Live page. Go to Local 4 David Stoltz, and is actually I might have been in the tornado at one point, because there was a lot of debris flying across in front of me and hitting the vehicle, but definitely a different scene now with the sun coming out, and that apparently a tornado moving to the northeast up towards Grand Island. I don't have radar up in front of me, but John can tell you more about that. But right now, things much calmer than they were about 30 minutes ago, so I'm going to hand things back over to John now.
David, before we go, can you put me back to David real quick, if you can, if he's still there? David, can you hear me? Okay, I guess not. I guess we've lost David. Okay, and give me an idea of what you were seeing.
Yes, meteorologist David Stoltz here in downtown Hastings, on Burlington, across from the Wells Fargo Bank. Definitely different scene right now compared to 30 minutes ago, as we had a tornado warning and tornado on the ground, which I witnessed firsthand. This video on my Local 4 Facebook page. I was live at the time. I'm not sure how much I caught, because I was trying to get to a safe place, as I was right near it, or almost in the tornado. The pass through is on 34, just west of the high school there, west of Hastings, about 25 miles east of Minden. The storm was heading off to the east-northeast, it appeared to be, and then Grand Island was under a tornado warning as well. But things, you can see the sun is out now. I was pan over here. The sun is out.
So can
behind
you
that
hear me?
storm system,
Can
and
you hear
things
me?
much different now than they were 30 minutes ago. Over to you, John.
You can hear me on that. So I was going to ask you some questions on that exactly. It's from Highway 34. It sounds like that could have been out toward the Adams Central area. I'm not exactly clear on that, but I'm glad you're okay. So that we do have some ground truth in terms of the damage. And I wanted to get a little better feel of what kind of damage we were talking about in that particular area there. Glad you're back in the Hastings area. We do, if we can switch back to the radar site now. And we're still tracking a tornado warning. We do have reports of a debris field from power line in Holstein to Bladen Avenue to River Bridge, and this is all in Adams County as well. So 2 miles west of Marquette, we have reports of 80-mile-per-hour winds coming through the area. So the debris, and certainly we did have some indications of debris on radar. Now that's being confirmed by several reports, including our own David Stoltz, who is apparently right in the thick of it out there to the west of Hastings. Now we are focusing on the folks in Hamilton County and also parts of York County, the northeast corner of York County, in a tornado warning presently. Got reports of 70-mile-per-hour winds, heavy rain, and when the rain hits, folks, it's going to be zero visibility. That's what we're indicating. In some locations, it's because of the dust as well. So we've got a couple of things going against us, but in the close proximity of the storms, that wind-driven rain is just causing whiteout conditions. You are not going to be able to see anything. So please don't decide to go out chasing or doing anything of that nature. Just stay in place as the storm's about to cross Highway 81 now. So folks in Hebron, Geneva, York, up toward Columbus, you're going to be experiencing the wrath of this line of storms very, very soon here. Look at the orange right here. On a normal day, that would be considered probably a watch, with just by the sheer geography that this thing is encompassing. But these are all severe thunderstorm warnings due to the fast movement of these particular cells. And now they're crossing Highway 81. We still have not really heard much more now from this particular system around. There had some possible reports that there could be some activity around the Aurora area that we're trying to confirm here. We're near Aurora. Also, there's Grand Island. There is Hamilton County. And so now I'm seeing reports the tornado warning for Hamilton County is going to be allowed to expire. The severe thunderstorm warning for Jewel and Mitchell County in north central Kansas now is allowed to expire. Once this line of storms moves through, we're going to be in the clear. But it sounds like we're going to be in cleanup mode as well, as there's been some damage, unfortunately, with this. Hopefully, nobody's been injured. That is what's most important. We can clean up the mess and the power poles, et cetera, but the rest of it, we just want to make sure that everybody is safe. So that's the number one thing. I'm going to have to switch spots here real quick one more time as you continue to see that line tracking through, moving toward the north and east at about 75 miles an hour. Tornado watches have been posted for much of eastern Nebraska. This is going to be ongoing all the way to the Missouri River. And within this line here is where we're seeing some circulations right there. See that right in that area there? That is bulging, that little bulge there is where we're seeing the spin up presently, and that's where that warning is currently in place. And so, and I will get to that in just a second. Here is my, had to reset my computer again, and there we go. We're scanning the storms now. Let's see here. What the latest we have is some tornado damage being reported 3 miles northeast of Donovan. Reports of a pickup trailer overturned westbound I-80 east of Locust Avenue. And I would advise people, if they are out and about in an area where there is damage, to also I would just sort of sit tight, at least at the present. There could be some down live power lines across much of the area. We don't need anybody out sightseeing, certainly, across the region. We don't need anybody getting in the way of emergency vehicles or emergency management. Any emergency vehicles, should there be some injuries, God forbid. And also be mindful that there can be power lines hidden within the debris, through the tree limbs, through the structures, that can also be fatal across if you happen to encounter those. So just hunker down for a while, let this thing pass. And gradually we'll start to take care of the aftermath as we continue to sort of get an overview of what exactly has occurred and where it's occurred across the area. And I know a lot of folks are sort of coming out now and seeing the sunshine, thinking things are good and we're hunky-dory, and things will improve once this line of storms moves through. But there are still plenty of hazards that are lying out there in the wake of these tornadoes that have touched down across parts of the area. Again, severe thunderstorm warnings. We are continuing the severe thunderstorm warnings for Clay, Fillmore, Greeley, and Hamilton County. And canceling the warning for East Central Sherman, parts of Hall County right now, but we're continuing them. The severe thunderstorm warning remains until 3 o'clock, by the way, for folks in eastern Greeley, eastern Clay, eastern Nuckolls, Nance, York, Hamilton, Fillmore, Thayer, Merrick, Polk, northeastern Howard counties, along a line that extends from 6 miles southeast of Greeley to near Hordeville to Byron. It's moving to the northeast at about 65 miles an hour. That's the current speed right now. Out of those storms, we're looking at 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts at least, and the possibility of some circulations as we have seen. But you don't need a circulation for the damage. There is a threat of considerable damage with these storms, be it tree damage, power line damage, lightning strikes as well. And we're moving into an area of southeast Nebraska where there's a red flag warning. So we're just hoping that none of these lightning strikes or any of these down power lines that we've got going here causes a spark, which could cause a wildfire, given the straight line winds that's associated with this storm. That would just be absolutely devastating. But just to give you, but there is that wildfire threat within the region that these storms are going through right now. We now have a new tornado warning that's just been issued, and we're talking about east central Nance County, northeastern Hamilton County, northeastern Merrick County, and northwestern Polk County. That's in effect until 2:45. You see the extension of that, and if that thing did pop up, I think it did. Yes. And so that has now been just been issued by the National Weather Service. We're looking at, again, the same story along that line, a circulation, a spin-up, or a possible tornado near Hordeville. That's near Hordeville, which is located about 18 miles northwest of York. It's moving to the northeast at about 70 miles per hour. So if you're in the path of that storm, and among the towns that are would be Silver Creek. That's around 2:45. So we are looking at a circulation that so far has had a history of some touchdowns. The circulations are not staying aloft. They are reaching the ground. So you folks are around Silver Creek, and this is beginning to run now right along Highway 30 and stretching right up toward Columbus. And that makes me, you folks in Columbus, you think about seeking some shelter. You're just outside the warned area right now as we speak. But I'm telling you, this is going to be moving into your community here very, very soon, and it is still producing some circulations as it does so. So this is crossing, soon to be crossing Highway 81 in those areas. It is about to cross Highway 81 from York and Geneva down toward Hebron. Really haven't seen the circulations this far south. It's been primarily right on the nose of this, and that's where most of the momentum is, the drier air that's also moving behind this system, holding this line together as it continues to march through eastern Nebraska. We have confirmations of damage to a house at Powerline Road and Wanda. That would be northeast of, south of Holstein, actually. It's northeast of Bladen Avenue, south of Holstein. So in Adams County there, and that's where David was, that tells me that's where David was probably at when the tornado hit. That would have been roughly along Highway 6 in that area there, but it's right along Powerline Road and Wanda. So there is a debris field there, and we have some reports of damage to a house in that area. We have also reports, and this is ominous, the circulation in northeastern Hamilton County. That is going to be about right here. There's Hamilton County right in this area. That's where the circulation is. That is intensifying. So we could potentially see an additional touchdown occurring here as the circulations, they are spinning down, briefly touching down, but this has sustained itself a little bit more. So this is telling me that perhaps it had recycled a little bit, but it is now intensifying, and this tornado warning, again, is, we haven't had any confirmations yet, but treat this as if there's a tornado with that, certainly. That's not aloft. If it hasn't dropped down yet, it certainly will. And this will continue to march toward the north and east, and very, very quickly. This is going to be in Columbus before you know it. When we're talking about forward speeds of about 75 miles an hour, it is really going to be racing through the area. And I'm going to try to do a storm track for you to give you an idea of some of the towns that are in the path of this particular system here. So as these lines continue to move through the area, again, we're looking at dangerous lightning. We have visibilities. Torrential rains also being indicated with this particular system here. Here's a closer look at that particular cell. And we'll take a look at some of the communities that are in the path of this particular storm now. We'll put a storm track on that and stretch that out, moving at about 75 miles an hour. And so this is going to be moving up toward the Albion area at 239, Columbus at 259, Norfolk at 308, and moving all the way up toward the Stanton and the Wayne area by around 314 to 333. So it's really amazing just how quickly these have moved through the region here. So we'll keep that up and go back to the radars here and take a closer look at this particular cell. This is the real deal right in this area here. This is where we're seeing the strongest of the storms, and as we're seeing indications now that this is also intensifying. I'm going to try to take a look at the vertical velocity, see if there's anything that we can see on that. And once again, it's just showing all we're getting right now is outward bound winds, at least on this particular radar. And so some of those wind speeds, let me query this just to give you an idea of what we're talking about aloft. We're looking at the wind velocities of up to 84, 85 miles an hour coming out of the system, 74 mile per hour winds in Nancy.